What if the man you were forced to marry, a poor blind beggar, turned out to be a secret billionaire? What if your wicked stepmother, who sold you off like a slave, woke up one morning to see you shining like a queen? This is the shocking story of a poor orphan girl, Ella, whose life changed forever. Stay with me to see how pain, shame, and a forced marriage turned into the biggest surprise of her life. Ella was just a young poor orphan girl. Her father and mother died when she was 10. Since then, she lived with her stepmother, Madame Clara, and her two daughters, Sandra and Joy. But life in that house was like a prison. Ella woke up before everyone, cooked, swept, fetched water, and washed plates. Yet Madame Clara and her daughters insulted her every day, calling her a useless orphan. Ella endured it all, hoping that one day her suffering would end. But things became worse. One morning, Madame Clara called Ella and said, "A man has come for your hand in marriage." Ella was shocked. "But I am only 18. I don't even know him." Madame Clara shouted, "I don't care. He's a blind beggar. But from today, you are his wife. You will leave my house forever." Sandra and Joy joined in laughing. "Better say yes before we throw you out." Ella cried and begged, but nobody listened. The next day, they took Ella to a small dirty house where the blind beggar sat with dark glasses and an old stick. His clothes were dirty. His face looked tired. His name was Papa G, known in the village as a poor blind man who begged at the junction. Ella's heart broke. Is this the end of my life? They forced Ella to marry him right there in secret. No wedding, no cake, no joy. That night, Ella sat on the floor of a small dark house with a man she didn't know. But Papa G was gentle. He never touched her or shouted at her. He only said, "I will take care of you." Ella cried herself to sleep every night, thinking her life was over. But something strange happened one evening. As Ella was sweeping outside, she heard Papa G speaking softly into a phone. He said, "Yes, everything is going according to plan. I will be back in the city soon." Ella froze. City? Plan? But this man is a beggar, right? She didn't know her life was about to change forever. Ella could not believe her ears. "I will be back in the city soon. Everything is working according to plan." What plan? She stood quietly, hiding behind the door, watching Papa G carefully. The next morning, something happened that shook Ella to her bones. A big black jeep drove into their small compound. The driver stepped out in a sharp black suit and opened the car door. Out came a tall, handsome man wearing clean white native attire and designer shoes. His wristwatch sparkled. His smile was calm but powerful. Ella came out quietly. "Please, who are you looking for?" The man turned to her, removed his sunglasses and said gently, "Ella, it's me." Her mouth opened wide. "Papa G?" It was him, the poor blind beggar she was forced to marry, but now standing before her as a young billionaire with shining eyes and no walking stick. Ella dropped the broom in her hand. Her heart was shaking. "Please, what is going on?" she whispered. Papa G, whose real name was Gabriel Owolabi, smiled and said, "Yes, Ella, I am not a beggar. I am not blind. I am a billionaire in disguise." Ella's head spun. She sat on the floor, staring at him like a dream. Gabriel continued, I was tired of fake women chasing me for my money. I wanted to see if I could find a woman with a pure heart, a woman who would love me even when I had nothing. He smiled again and said softly, I found you. Ella began to cry. I don't even know what to say. I didn't love you at first. I was forced. I know, Gabriel said calmly, but even though you were forced, you never insulted me. You still cooked for me. You never mocked me. You never disrespected me. That showed me the kind of heart you have. Gabriel stretched his hand towards her. Please come with me. Let me show you the life you deserve. Ella didn't know when she burst into tears. Thank you. Thank you, God, she whispered. Back in the village, Madame Clara and her daughters sat in front of their house gossiping. I am sure that blind beggar has turned Ella into his housemaid, Sandra said laughing. Joy joined. I told you she's probably suffering like a dog now. But before they could finish, a long convoy of flashy cars drove into the village square. People began to run out of their houses. Who is that? Is there a wedding? Is a president visiting? From the first car, Gabriel stepped out holding Ella's hand. Ella was dressed in a beautiful white gown, sparkling like a queen. Her makeup was simple but fine. Her hair packed like a real queen. The village went silent. Madame Clara's mouth opened wide. Sandra dropped her cup of tea. Joy gasped. That's Ella! They all screamed. Ella walked gently towards them, holding Gabriel's hand. She looked at her stepmother and said softly, You threw me away like rubbish, but God picked me up like a treasure. The villagers clapped and cheered. Gabriel spoke up. This woman you rejected is now my wife, my queen, and today I came back to show the world what happens when God changes a person's story. Madame Clara and her daughters fell on their knees, begging Ella for forgiveness. But Ella smiled and said, I have forgiven you. I leave everything to God. Ella's story spread like fire across the whole town. The poor orphan forced to marry a blind beggar but ended up becoming the queen of a billionaire. Ella's life became a story that people told for many years. From the poor orphan treated like a housemaid to the young wife of a billionaire loved, respected and honored. Gabriel gave Ella everything she never dreamed of. A big mansion, cars, business and above all, true love. But Ella didn't allow riches to change her heart. She remained humble, kind and caring. She started a foundation for orphans and widows. She built a free school in her village. She even gave Madame Clara and her daughters money to start a new life. When people asked her, why did you forgive them? Ella smiled and said, because when God lifts you, you don't repay evil with evil. You repay evil with love. Powerful moral lessons. 1. Never look down on anyone. That poor person you despise today may become your helper tomorrow. 2. God can use your pain to lift you, your rejection, your tears, your shame. God can turn it into glory if you remain patient and faithful. 3. Don't fight for revenge. Forgive. Leave everything in God's hands. His reward is better than your anger. 4. True love is not about money or looks. It's about respect, kindness and a pure heart. 5. Your story is not over. Even if people mock you now, God can rewrite your story in ways you never imagined. Dear amazing viewers, thank you for staying with me through this powerful story. If this story of Ella and Gabriel touched your heart, please like this video, drop a comment and subscribe to this channel. Don't forget to share this story with someone who feels rejected or forgotten. Let them know your rejection today can become your testimony tomorrow. Thank you for always supporting me. See you in the next heart-touching story. God bless you.